The Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association, an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress, has warned that Nigeria risks losing investments valued at about 2.2 trillion naira if the ban on sachet alcohol by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is sustained. The national president of the union, Oyibo Jimo, raised the alarm on Monday while addressing journalists during a protest by members of the Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria at the NAFDAC office in Oshodi, Lagos. According to Jimo, the continued enforcement of the ban could lead to the loss of more than 5.5 million jobs, both directly and indirectly, across the value chain of the alcoholic beverage industry. Joining us on the show to discuss the economic impact of the alcohol sachet ban is Solomon Adebosin, Executive Secretary, Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. Good morning, and you're most welcome to the morning show. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Mr. Adebosin.
Thank you, sir.
Let's start with the advert you signed this morning in this day newspaper, page 11 of the lawyer section, in which you were making a case against NAFDAC, I think, NAFDAC. Now, if you could just take us through your objection to the position of NAFDAC that alcohol-related PET below 200 ml pose a threat to public health, particularly the health of young persons. In your concluding paragraphs, you said no, you disagree. Your association, I think you and Comrade Oyibo,
yes,
that you want dialogue, you want livelihoods to be protected, you don't want dictation from NAFDAC. Can you defend that one-page full advertisement in this day newspaper before we begin to dissect?
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes, NAFDAC came up with the claim that the such alcohol was not good. However, we must also state here clearly that there is no alcohol beverage company in Nigeria that was not certified. All these products were certified by NAFDAC. So NAFDAC cannot claim to say that the products that they certified are no longer good. Now the claim is that it being in sachet, it becomes very accessible, but the idea of products coming in sachet is because of the way the economy in Nigeria is now. We have suddenly found ourselves to be a sachet economy in most of the things that we have because of affordability. However, it's also, in this particular instance, it also helps in ensuring moderation. Because when you just have it in bits, you take it and then you are okay. Because now you are not compelled to now take more than. Because what we always talk about and advocate for is drink responsibly, drink in moderation. And so when it is in this form, it becomes easy for someone to just take, one sachet and then you're okay. Rather than having a big volume that you can now be taking and have, go overboard. And we also are concerned that we feel there are greater dangers that NAFDAC will also look at in the issue of drugs. Like today now, I know the NDLA talked about 50 million Nigerians have issues with drug-related issues. And so the issue of drugs among young people in the populace is something that we feel is even more pertinent than this one that NAFDAC is looking at, because the products that people are bringing out are products certified by NAFDAC. So it is not adulterated. The challenge we have is that when you come against these products like this, which are made by indigenous Nigerians, we are looking at the issue of the employment. Indigenous Nigerians are putting a lot of money to be able to set up these companies and then give employment to Nigerians, directly and indirectly. By shutting it down, you are going to be affecting that. And the idea of the president of the federal government saying, we want to get foreign direct investment, they are seeking for investors. When foreign direct investors see the way local investors are being treated, I'm not going to encourage them to say they want to come and now invest in Nigeria. And that's part of what we are talking about. So we have been, we call on NAFDAC to say, we can have a dialogue on this. We can look at different ways of solving this issue. The issue should not just be ban. Everything in Nigeria wants, and something happens, the first attempt we want to do is ban it. We should not be thinking of ban as the first response. We can be able to have dialogue and then provide different other suggestions and way out of this. And that's what we're saying.
All right, okay, thank you. So, I mean, a number of issues around this. And the last time we had this conversation, we did raise the fact that there was a 5-year moratorium. And in that time, why is it now when it has expired, you're coming up with this argument again? Because this is the point of, you know, this, it seems like something has been agreed on. There was an agreement between NAFDAC and the stakeholders. And now when it's expired, you're changing your tongue, you're changing your position. Why is this the case? And then when you talk about the fact that now it would reduce, I beg to differ. It actually makes it more accessible, because if it's cheaper, many more people can have access to it. And the argument, of course, is that you find them selling it in motor parks. There's no regulation around who can have access to it now, since it's more affordable. So your take on this? Okay,
now I'll start from the second. Part of the suggestion we had when we spoke with the Ministry of Health was to be able to come up with what we call a national alcohol policy. Okay. And part of what was discussed in that policy is this issue of regulation, the accessibility, and that it is not going to be the manufacturers that are going to be they're not the regulators. So it is those people who are supposed to enforce, to ensure that this is not sold in motor parks. I remember growing up, we used to have these off and non-licensed stores where it is only those places you can be able to buy some of these things. And you know, when everything has been made available everywhere, so we can go back to that and ensure that the regulators can ensure that this kind of situation is laws are enforced to ensure that we do not have a situation where it is sold everywhere. Now, when we talk about the moratorium, within that period, the same NAFDAC approved other distillers to bring up produce. Yeah. Because when they saw that, when people saw that the way it was going, a lot of them also diverted into this form. So if you have already said, oh, we are going to stop it, but you are still giving people permission to, you are still certifying their products in that same pack size, then what are you saying? You are giving different complete signals. And that's what I was saying, that from the way you are, from your body language, you are not really, it's not about this issue. We are feeling that if you are not careful, you are going to be discouraging local manufacturers. And that is really our concern, because of the employment that they've been able to produce and provide for Nigerians. If you keep on hammering on this like this, those who are in the logistics, those printing, those who are doing the carton and everything, everybody is going to be affected. And that's why we say that the value chain is going to have a lot of impact even on the value chain.
Okay. So how do we stop the excessive use of what you produce? Because the argument from NAFDAC is this: as long as you make it easy in sachets, it becomes easy to consume. People can consume even more. I can buy 10 sachets, right? So how do we stop that? And they've said they have scientific evidence to be able to back it up, that because it's so available like that, and that's why they're going ahead to ban. It's not that NAFDAC doesn't want your business to thrive, but we want the society to move forward. So what are you guys also doing to be able to ensure that we stop that abuse of your own product? What are some of your plans? One,
we've said that it is not to be sold to people under 18.
How do you regulate that?
It's not for us to regulate.
Who will regulate it?
It is going to be, now the laws are there. If anybody is found selling to somebody who is young, that is the person that ought to be now arrested or prosecuted. And that's what we are talking about. We have also gone on advocacy.
But you said it is not to be sold. But you extricated yourself saying we are not going to implement.
No, what we're saying is that when we make it available, when we produce it, the retailers have also already been educated on do not sell to people who are younger, who are minors.
But you know that's impossible. Let's knock that out. That's not a solution. We'll knock that out. That's not a solution. Secondly.
Now we've done advocacy.
Yeah.
We've gone to secondary schools and we are still doing that one. To talk to students, to let them know the dangers of alcohol abuse. It's part of the things that
but
we
when
have.
when you go for advocacy,
Yes.
you also take your own shirts and flyers of the products you produce.
No.
So what do you do?
No, because we're not advertising to them.
So what do you do?
We go there to let them know this.
As what do you go there?
We go there as now. I represent the workers' union,
Yeah.
so we go there as workers of the food, beverage, and tobacco
that
sector.
produce
Yes, that produce those things.
alcohol,
and let them know.
You are still selling to them. What we
No.
Because
No.
you are just doing that to fulfill righteousness. You are still selling to
The
them.
issue is this: we are not selling to them.
No,
we
but
are
they are
making
aware
the
that it's
products.
those that make the product that are coming to sensitize.
Yes, we have come to say, while we are making this product available, it is not for people like you. You need to be careful about taking it, because it's not, good for you at this time. But you see, the issue also is this: when we look at the effect, when you're talking about abuse, anything that you do you do in excess is going to be dangerous to you. Even if you drink water in excess, it's dangerous.
So apart from sensitization, so what next? What are the other steps? Because you see, this is the argument NAFDAC is making.
Yeah.
The two processes you've talked about are not coherent enough to stop this abuse. When you look at it, the first one you said, we've told our distributors not to sell to people under 18. It's not going to be possible. You know that nobody will enforce that. Second one, you say you go to the schools and do sensitization and everything. No, it's not far-reaching. And that's why they are going ahead to ban. So what are the other things have you thought of? Maybe you should go and think out of the box. Now,
you see, the issue about... that's part of what we said. We could have a discussion. We want to have that kind of dialogue with NAFDAC. Okay, now you have come up with this one. What are those things that they feel that we can do that will not go to result in banning?
Okay.
And so if we come up with this kind of discussion, then we can also be able to advocate for it. But if you come to just say you ban, the effect on the employment of our people is what we are...
Have you tried reducing alcohol content?
Now, to reduce alcohol content, it is part of the, the standard that even NAFDAC approves. If you're making gin, you're making rum.
Comrade, in the last few days, there have been protests at the NAFDAC office in Oshodi.
Yes.
What do you hope to achieve with the protest? Because you've been talking about NAFDAC. NAFDAC is also talking about Senate. That it was Senate that originally took the decision that too many young people are drinking alcohol, having easy access to alcohol. And in the interest of public health, something should be done about this. And it was on the basis of that NAFDAC acted.
Okay.
The initial deadline that was given, your body, your union, approached NAFDAC, and NAFDAC said, okay, no problem. For the manufacturers to have enough time, they extended the deadline. And that's why they extended to January. Now that deadline has ended. Now you are saying you don't agree. Now, that old agreement, was it not done in good faith? And then if you are mentioning NAFDAC, is your union engaging the Senate of the Federal Republic, just in case the Senate of the Federal Republic may be persuaded to change its mind? Because it would be wrong to demonize NAFDAC.
I get you, Doctor. Thank you so much, Doctor. We were with the House of Reps sometime early last year, I think. And it was at that decision of the House of Reps, they said, okay, let us go back and have this discussion. That's why we started talking about this alcohol policy. When the Senate came up with this, we were not even informed. So our concern was that you didn't call us to hear from us, so we can be able to also give you a presentation, maybe the same way we present to the House of Senate and to the House of Representatives. We can be able to present the same thing to you, so you can have an understanding of what you're talking about. There was no such call. But then we also know that the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation also came out with a directive that said that, okay, everything should...
Yeah, that was the problem. Now, what is the Office of the SGS matter? How did they get into the matter?
So now, maybe, with all the, what do I call it, the awareness you are making. So the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation said, stay action, let's look at this. And that was where we are. So we were expected to be invited, called, let's also have this discussion. So this dialogue we're talking about, at least can be directed by somebody. So let's have this discussion. And that's what we were expecting before NAFDAC came with this.
So what do you want going forward?
We want NAFDAC, first of all, to rescind this, and then let's just have this discussion.
For how long? Because it looks like it's a policy matter.
Yeah.
For the rest of 2027, or to just
No, at least for the period where we are discussing.
No, but the problem I have with you guys, you've discussed for 5 years.
5 years. You had a moratorium.
After the 5-year discussion, you've not put solutions on the table.
You know what I said? You know what I said?
So what would you give to NAFDAC as a solution? We all have the same problem. We want to stop excessive abuse of alcohol by underage people. What are your solutions? If this is NAFDAC talking now, what are you going to give to us again? Oh, because we can't, yes, we want your business to thrive. What do you do? We don't want 5.5 million people to lose their job. But we also want solution. Now, so what are some of the solutions? And it's not about awareness or all of that. Okay. That one is not practical.
You know, you mentioned you mentioned something which we also talked about. We've not really gone deep into it. But you mentioned this reduction of alcohol content.
That's one.
You know, yeah. So if it's something that NAFDAC is ready to also look at for us to look at, yeah, you can say, okay, let's look at that, so that we can be able to have this opportunity for that is we are not going to be able to get this concern we have about people losing their jobs. We can be able to address it. Okay. Then we also want to a situation because you see, like I said before, the concern we had was that in between that 5 years, NAFDAC was still certifying other ones. So we're now saying that, okay, why are you still certifying others when you are saying that we should come to stop it?
We have to go. And of course, like you mentioned, the dialogue continues. Yes. And maybe an opportunity for you to also, along your, with your members, think up ways. Because on one hand, there's the economic argument for it. On the other hand, very importantly, is the public health argument for it as well, which NAFDAC is coming from. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.